Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everybody to Lucas Tyndale Live. Another great episode, another great day here. I want to thank you guys so much who are joining us here right now. And to people who are watching by replay, thank you all for being loyal followers, loyal fans. If you're here for the first time, I want to welcome you. My name is Lucas Tyndale, and this is Lucas Tyndale Live, a product of Lucas Live Media. This has been a labor of love for me. For those who don't know, I started this show just a few weeks ago. After my mom passed away about a month ago, I started this show to honor her and to do more, because my mom said when she passed away a few weeks before, she said, I don't want to pass because I feel I have more to do. So this is my way of doing more, of giving back, of sharing education, motivation, and liberation. We want to educate some people here on Lucas Tyndale Live. We want to motivate some people, motivate you to do something with what you learned. It's not good enough just to learn something new. You got to do something with it, okay? You got to do something great. This background here says do something great. You got to do something great with it. So that's what it's all about, is education, motivation, liberation. I want to challenge people on this show. We have a great guest today, awesome guest who's going to bring some great information, great insight, and a real story. I love bringing real stories of real people who've been through some stuff, who can teach us some stuff, who can motivate us in spite of the stuff they've been through. It's so exciting, and I'm so glad. Again, thank you all for all your love and support. To shout out again to the Canton Repository for featuring an article about my show. It's only 3 weeks old, and have an article in the paper is amazing, and it's just the beginning. It was in the Canton Repository. Next, we're going to Akron. Next, we're going to Cleveland. Next, we're going to USA Today, New York Times. Who knows? But it's all going to happen because of you, because you guys continue to support this show. I want to thank everybody. If you're following me, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I want to get the YouTube channel up. I want to get the YouTube views up. I want to show people that we have a great audience, so that other people, big and small, will want to come on the show, knowing that it will be an opportunity for them to share their story, their products, their services, or whatever it may be. I just have such a great lineup coming up. I just can't tell you. Today is going to be special, and just every day it's just going to be something great. Today I'm talking to someone who has recovered from drug addiction for over 24 years and has gone on to be a motivational speaker and help others. He is going to share his raw, real story. He's going to talk about some of the tragic losses he's faced in his life and how he overcame and how he battled and how he's continued to use his story and his pain to help others. So I'm super excited about that. Let me shout out the Lucas Live audience who are making comments. Feel free to make comments. Jump in the comments section. We love having you here with your comments. We are back in our previous software. So you guys who were here with me over the weekend for our Saturday game night. Is that Saturday? Yeah, Saturday we had a game night. And then Sunday, yesterday, we had a dedication show to the fans and to my mom. I had a new software I was using, and I'm still working on that new software. Today, to bring my guest on, we went back to StreamYard, which is the software that I'm using. If you want to know more about StreamYard, please contact me. I can send you a referral link. You would get a discount, and I would get a referral credit. So let's work together. Okay, let's all win. All right. So if you want to learn how to use StreamYard or get access to it, to some of these things I'm able to do on screen going live, let me know. Again, I am using another software called Ecamm Live that's for Macs only. I'm learning it. It has a little more flexibility than StreamYard, and that's why I'm going to be using that one. But for most people, StreamYard is more than enough because it's been great for me. Let me shout out some of the people who are here. When I made this post, some people jumped on. Shout out to my cousin Marche. She said, love his story. She's heard his story before, and she said she loves it. My good friend, Derrick Jenkins, she said this is her uncle. I'm so excited that she's going to, hopefully she'll be able to tune in here today. My cousin Christina, welcome to the show. She said, what does the background say? The background says, do something great. Do something great. Let's do something great today. Angela Hardesty, thank you so much. You're so kind. Thank you for being such a loyal fan, being somebody who's here with us time after time after time. I can't thank you enough. Please share this broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. We really appreciate it. To my beautiful wife, Corinne Marie Tyndale, thank you for being here. She said, LTL, Inner Circle, watching from YouTube. Awesome. The inner circle is the winner circle. Let me throw that up there real quick. Please join our inner circle if you have not already. Our numbers are increasing, but I know I have more viewers. I know I have more followers than I have people in my inner circle. Why not join? The inner circle is the winner circle. You're going to get a chance to win some things in the future. It's going to be beneficial to be there. You're going to get some advance notice of some special guests. So please join the inner circle by texting Lucas Live, all one word, LUCAS, LIVE, to 31996. Text Lucas Live to 31996. Join our special group. It's not group messaging, so it's not like if somebody else responds to that, it's not going to come to you. It'll only come from me, okay? So you'll only get messages from me. So don't worry that you're going to be a part of the world's biggest group message and lose your mind and not be able to sleep. Don't worry. I got it. I got it under control. Don't worry about it. So text Lucas Live to 31996. Thank you, sweetie, for saying that, for calling that out. Miss LaVonna Jackson, all the way from the West Coast. Welcome. Excited to have you here. It's been some time. LaVonna, I've known you for half of both of our lives. So glad you joined us here today. Thank you so much. Damon Thomas, welcome back. 2 weeks today for me. Wow. Damon lost his mother. His mother passed. His beautiful, wonderful mother, Aunt Mary, passed away. And shout out to her. And it's been 2 weeks. I can't believe it's been 2 weeks already. That is incredible. But definitely continue to pray for you and the family. I know you guys are going to continue to live her legacy as I'm doing for my mom. And you've already made her proud. And I know you guys are only going to continue to do so. So shout out to Damon. Hey, Sharice. Welcome to the show. So glad you are here as always. We really appreciate it. Sharice Grantham, one of our loyal followers, loyal members, loyal fans. Appreciate it. Lester Sanders also in the house. Thank you, my friend. Do something great. Something you would say. That's something my man Lester Sanders would say. Do something great today. All right. Hey, JJ Lilly. Thank you for being here as always. So grateful for that. Thank you, Tyler. Nice shirt today. Thank you so much. Here we go. Now, only thing is my shirt is orange. I'm a Bulldog for life, but, I can wear orange too. You know what I'm saying? It's, that, whatever. Good evening. Good evening. Great energy on the platform. Thank you so much, Travell. I hope I'm saying your name right. Or is it Travell? I don't know, but you're going to be on the show. Can't wait to have you. I'll be reaching out. I know we talked about it. So glad that I got to meet you. And we're going to have the head of Black Christian influencers on the show this Wednesday as well, which is where me and Travell met through that platform. So she'll be on here soon. So I'm excited about that. Jokina, welcome to the show. So glad to have you. Thank you. Nice background, right? It's a little different. Now, this isn't I have an upgraded camera and some upgraded software. This isn't even all that. And this looks like all that. It is wonderful. It's such a blessing that I've been able to use different softwares and I'm learning new things. It's so fun and it's all coming together and it's all working out. So I'm really, really grateful for everything and how great everything is looking. My friend Jokina, thank you for being here. Aunt Hagen, thank you so much for always joining us. So glad to have you. You're a mystery person, though, because you don't have a face to your Facebook. So you look like a mystery person. Nobody knows, but it's all good. It's okay. It's all good. Nobody's going to be mad. It's all right. It's okay. Ebony Hill, Hilltastic Coaching at bookebony.com, BOOK, ebony.com. Check out Hilltastic Coaching. Her and her husband do relationship coaching. Check out Hilltastic Coaching. She wrote the book, How I Went from 45 and Single to 45 and Married. You better watch out. If you're single and you're looking for something to change in your life, ladies and gentlemen, her book is so real, okay? I was her coach, coached her, helped her get ready, helped her get fit for a relationship, mentally, spiritually, emotionally fit for a relationship, found the man of her dreams. They had a beautiful wedding. They have a beautiful life, and she wrote a beautiful book about it. Wrote a beautiful, beautiful book about it. So, hey, Brittany Taylor, welcome to the show. So glad to have you. One of my former students. I have a lot of kids. See, not really a lot of kids that are mine. I do have 4 of my own, but I have kids that I worked with at McKinley Early Childhood Center for many years, and it's always a blessing when they join me. Her and her family, special family. One of my first families, one of my first groups of kids. They were special to me. So, hey, Brittany, glad you're here. Little niece Williams, my good friend, welcome to the show. So glad to have you. Thank you so much again for being here. To everybody else who's watching, who hasn't made comments, thank you. It's okay. It's okay if you haven't thrown anything in the comment section, but always feel free to participate. If you have questions for our guests today, make sure you get ready to ask our guests some questions. Again, we're going to hear a raw, real story. And when I talked to him, he said, there's nothing I'm holding back. He said, I'm an open book. And I thanked him for that because I said, well, I was making a little flyer right before the show and I was putting drug addict on there. And I was like, well, no, that's drug user, drug addict, former drug person, somebody who kind of dabbled in. He said, no, man, say what it was. He said it was real. That's what it was. I was addicted to drugs. And by the grace of God, I'm not anymore. So I want to tell the whole story. I want to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And that's what's going to set people free. That's what this show is about. Liberation. education, motivation, liberation. You're not going to get set free without the truth. They said they shall know the truth, and the truth shall set them free. So that's awesome. That's where it's at. Thank you guys who are watching. I know I'm on a lot of platforms. I don't want to confuse you guys. We are live on Facebook. We're also on our Lucas Live Media Facebook page. Either page is good. I know someone reached out and said, which page is better to be on? The best place to be is YouTube, only because it helps get our views up and our minutes up and our hours up as we search to monetize our YouTube channel and use those funds to help give back and donate to our great audience. I promise we're going to do some great things to give back to you guys. So you guys can always go check us out on YouTube, but please feel free. You're here. We're happy to have you here on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Periscope. Thank you for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I don't want to take up too much more time. Let me just shout out our sponsor today. I've been telling you guys about Health Matching Account. The website is scrolling across the bottom of the screen. When you go to Health Matching Account, don't just Google Health Matching Account. I want you to click HMA Enroll to Save. I want you to go through the link that's going to support Lucas Live. So go to HMA Enroll to Save if you just even want to see information about it. You want to see what it's about. Lucas keeps saying something about this healthcare supplement product that helps you double the money you save towards your healthcare expenses for you and your spouse or your children and your family. I don't know what he's talking about. He said it works on elective procedures too. He said you can get things done like LASIK eye surgery and orthodontics and braces and this and that and the other. It's unbelievable. I don't know if it's true. Or you can use it for needed procedures or any medical. Or if you have a sudden major medical and you have money saved on this card, you can use it. It's on a Visa debit card. Is this real? What's it about? You want to know more about it? Check it out at hmaenrolltosave.com. So make sure you check that out. Shout out to HMA, our wonderful sponsor for today's show. We're so grateful for them. And we're going to get rolling here. Shout out one more time to Shamika Dean. Dr. Dean is in the house. Dr. Shamika Dean, LL Cool Tyndale. That's me. I'm not going to rap. Not today. But Dr. Shamika Dean set the stage on fire. She set the show on fire. People are still reaching out to me, talking to me about her show. People are binge watching it. People are watching it through again. People are taking notes. People are telling me so many things that help them from her show. Go to my YouTube channel and go check out that episode. It was from last Wednesday, I think. Fire. Dr. Shamika Dean broke it down. She talked about entrepreneurship. She talked about positioning yourself. She talked about investing in yourself. People trying to figure out if they can invest in the stock market while the stock market's crashing. Well, the market of your economy is not crashing if you invest in yourself. Eric Thomas says you are an ATM. You can produce money yourself. You are an ATM. But if you don't invest in products and services that will serve you, it's not because you think the person is not worth it. It's because you don't think you're worth it. Dr. Shamika Dean broke that down. We're going to have her back on the show. Can't wait. She's going to break it down for us again and share more great information. Can't wait to have her back on the show. It was fire. That is right, Ebony. It was fire. All right. Without further ado, I want to welcome our special guest. He is family to some people that I've been very close to for a long, long time. I also met him. His granddaughter played AAU basketball with my daughter, Ashanti. Shout out to my daughter, Ashanti. And so I got to know him. We spent quite a bit of time last year around this time when things weren't quarantined, chasing these girls around. We were their biggest fans at their basketball games, and we had a great time. We spent a lot of time hanging out and talking, and he reached out to me recently, and we talked more about his story. And I'm so glad to present to you today our special guest, Mr. Derrick Jenkins. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
Glad to. Absolutely, absolutely. So me and you were talking, and I shared with the audience already that you have a story to tell, that you've been through some things. So if you don't mind a little bit, why don't you tell us, start at where we are today. Tell us some of the things you're doing now. And then we're going to rewind back and jump back to where you came from to how you got here. So we're going to tell the movie in reverse order. So tell them a little bit about who you are today. What do you do now?
Okay, right now I'm currently a health educator, supervisor down at the Tuscarawas County Health Department. I'm on a lot of different committees like Opiate Task Force. I'm on the quick response team for people who overdose on heroin or some type of opioid. Me, sheriff, and a firefighter go out and see them and provide them some resources to help them get back on the right track if they desire to change their lives. I'm a Project Don coordinator. I give out Narcan kits to people who may know somebody who's on heroin or opioid, and they use this Narcan, reverses the overdose and saves their lives. You know, a lot of people have been saved through Narcan. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I've done a lot of events as far as speaking, sharing my story, encouraging and motivating individuals that they can change their lives if they put the same energy and into changing their lives as they're getting high. They'd be
Mm.
surprised of the results,
All
and
right,
that's
wait.
yeah,
Hold
yeah.
on, hold on. You can't drop a gem on the show and not pause for us. We like to pause here on Lucas Live. Let's take that in, ladies and gentlemen. Let me say what he just said. And this is not a shot at people who are dealing with drug addiction because we know it's a serious thing. He's going to share
Yes.
his story. He's been there, so he's
Yeah.
not someone coming from a better than perspective. He's somebody
No.
coming from I've been where you are perspective. So he's going to share that story. But he has he said that if they put the energy into recovery or into getting better, that they put into seeking the drug and the drug addict behavior, they would have the recovery that they're searching for. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't tell you enough how true that is about so many things in our lives. I think Dr. Shamika Dean posted something today that talked about you're missing your customers because you're too busy complaining about who won't support you. Okay, so there's so many times where we're looking at the
True.
wrong thing and we're focused on the wrong thing. But when we shift our energy toward the thing that is positive and helpful and pleasant and fruitful and good, as the Bible says, focus on those things which are lovely and of good report, things get better in our lives. So he said if we focus on that more, we do better. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
a couple other things is just I'm like Shamika Dean said. I remember listening to that show last week. Building your brand is important. I have my own website now, DerrickVJenkins.com. I have a YouTube
Yes.
video that's kind of 16 minutes, I think it is. That's
Mm-hmm.
inspirational, a little bit of my story. Talks a
Yeah.
little bit about where I was, how got off of it, and the things that I had to do to stay off of it. And I'm a
Right.
licensed counselor as well. Went back to school, got my degree. All the things like I neglected because of my drug use. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
crack
Wow.
cocaine is my drug of choice. If the
Crack
viewers want to
cocaine
know, crack
was your
cocaine
drug of choice. All right, we're
was
gonna
my
we're gonna
drug
get
of
in.
choice.
We're gonna get into that. We have a few more people who jumped in. Miss Gail Danzy, welcome to the
Okay.
show. Lavonna Jackson. Lavonna Jackson asked, "Did you work at
I
SRCC?"
did. I did. I
Okay.
did. I worked at a lot of different treatment facilities. Yes.
Okay. Yep. So you
Yes.
got him right. You got
Yeah.
him. That's him.
Yeah. A
That's the
lot of
man
people
right
know me
there.
as Ricky Jenkins too. So that might
Okay.
be another factor for a lot of people know me as Ricky. So
Right.
Derrick they probably like Derrick because everybody
Right.
know me as Ricky. That's my street. I was my nickname. But when I got into
Okay.
the profession, I said, you know what, Ricky. Slick Rick, all the nicknames
Uh,
that I had, he gone now. I want
he
to,
gone now.
Derrick. Let's go by the real name. Derrick V. Jenkins is my name. Derrick Vance Jenkins. So,
I
but
love
no, a
it.
lot of people love me, know me as Ricky, especially my family. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So I might
Yeah.
have confused a few people. Like that's Ricky. That ain't Derrick. I don't know him as
That ain't
Derrick.
Derek. Wait a minute. That's Ricky.
Right.
All right. Ricky Derek.
Okay.
Derek. He's Derek now. He's
Right.
back
You're
to
right.
he's come back to himself. So Derek, tell
Yes.
us a little bit. Let's rewind back now,
Okay.
and talk a little bit about growing up. Where did you grow up? Tell us a little bit about your story. Did you grow up
Okay.
with both parents in the house? What was your
Yeah.
life like coming up?
Oh man, God, man, I can't complain about anything about growing up, man. I had both parents, man. My mom and dad, both they worked hard as hard workers. My dad he worked for the city, but he also was a musician. He played the organ. Went to school at Central State. My mom, she worked at the Hoover Company, and before that, she was a nurse aide, and hard workers, man. We had. A total of 6, 7 of us. My sister passed away at a young age. I was a baby when she passed, I believe. I didn't get a chance to know her, but it was 6
Mm-hmm.
of us for a long while before my brother was murdered, and I can get into that later. But
Sure.
yeah, grew up, man, Canton. Canton. Went to school in Canton.
Mm-hmm.
Mad Ewers, Crenshaw, and then went to
You played a little ball.
I played ball. Yeah, I played basketball at Timken.
Okay.
Matter of fact, let's go backwards. When I was 15 years old, and this is important, and I tell a lot of people, first time that had sex, I had a son.
Wow.
I became a young father, and I became very responsible. I fell in love with my son. And I wanted
How
to
old were you?
be. I was 15, turning 16.
Wow.
And so I had a kid when I was a junior in high school, and I worked and played ball, took care of him, and I actually got
Hmm.
custody of him when he was 5. So
Wow.
um, because I fell in love with him. I wanted him to have everything, man. I mean, he was just
Yep.
I think when he was born, I was at that time, I would say I started using drugs at 13. I tried weed, drinking,
Mm.
and got caught in, up into with the wrong crowd.
Right.
I do want to say this though. I think this is important because my mom worked afternoon shift and my dad, uh, he worked day shift. He was like there for us more so
Right.
during the day. But I
Hmm.
had 3 older brothers who they were my idols, and they were
Wow.
into the females, they were into getting high, they were into dressing, they were into the things that you kind of look up to. That some
Right.
things is not positive, but some things were I saw a lot of negativity. Not that they were
Hmm.
bad people, they were great. I love my brothers. They do anything in the world for me. They didn't want me to do none of those things. But
Right.
seeing it, monkey see, monkey do. No matter how much you tell me
Yes.
not to do it, that's when I'm
Whew.
gonna do it. So,
Yes.
but my brothers wanted the best for me, man. And I think they pushed me to be the person that I was. And then at 17 years old, I gave my life to Christ. Went down to North Carolina to a Christian basketball camp, and
Hmm.
I fell in love with Christ and gave my life to Christ. And
Powerful.
that's what got me through high school because
Wow.
the people I was hanging out with, I stopped hanging out with, and I started going to Bible studies, and I started to know the word, and
Started to change your
it
life.
started to change my life. It changed my
Wow.
life. It
It
got me
literally
through
did.
high school, and it got me into a college.
A
Start,
different mindset.
a different mindset, and
Yep.
then we fast forward to a
Now
place,
hold on.
man.
Wait. Let me
Okay, okay,
pause you right
okay,
there.
okay,
Okay.
okay,
So
okay.
going back, so you
Yeah,
were a teenager, you were looking up to your older brothers who wanted nothing but good for you, but
all
they
of them.
weren't
And I
doing
have 2
good. They
sisters.
weren't, and two sisters, but they weren't always modeling the right behavior, correct?
True. Yes,
Okay.
true, true.
Okay. So it wasn't, and
Yeah,
it wasn't out of any ill intent towards you. They were young people too, or whatever, right? They were doing what
yeah,
they were
yeah.
doing.
I had a brother
Yeah.
that, let's put it like this. I had a brother that was a year and a half older than me. Me and him was like twins. I mean, that
Hmm.
was my dude. I mean, whatever I became in sports or whatever I became in academics, he pushed me. He pushed me to be the best I could. Many days, me and him would be out throwing football, cold, playing basketball, just going at it. Then I had a brother that was 4 years older than me, and 5 years older than me, and a brother that's 10 years older than me.
Hmm.
So, and the brother that was 4 or 5 years older than me was a player. I mean, he's a nice looking guy. He had all the women. He had, things that,
Hmm.
you know,
Sure. It's
a
enticing.
young brother would want,
Yeah.
looking at. But at the same time, they still was telling me, keep doing what you're doing. You do this. And I had a sister, an older sister that was, you know, telling me to do the right things too. I'm gonna
Hmm.
tell you this. And I had a baby sister, and they said, why you put our business all out there like that? And I said, it's not me putting our business out there like that. It's the truth.
Yes.
And we got to be honest about where we were at one time in our lives. We all were addicts, all 6 of us.
Wow.
However, uh, all of us have changed. So over time, we all have changed, and that's the most
Wow.
important thing. But I think I had to be the one to break the cycle,
That's
and
big. So you
but
all were addicted to drugs at some point.
we all were addicted at some point to drugs.
That
All
is powerful. Now
6
let
of
me let
now,
me slow down
yeah,
and
yeah,
real quick and don't lose your thought. I
okay,
want to say this to people about the point of we're human beings. This is human nature. This is okay. Education, motivation, liberation. Here's a little education, ladies and gentlemen. We are copycats by nature. Your nature is to do what you see. That's why whole cultures are built. That's why you go to certain parts of the world and you're like, everybody does this, but we don't do that. Everybody dances like this, but we don't do that here. Everybody eats like this. It is natural. We are copycats by nature because there's safety and community in a level of sameness. When we are the same, and that's why young kids, you tell them, do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
They do what you do because that's their nature. You're trying to override their instinct and tell them to do as you say, not as you do. But if you're constantly doing something, they can't help but to pick up on those behaviors. When we see it on the animal planet, we don't think anything of it. We're like, of course that baby cub did what the mother did. Of course that baby lion did of course they did. That makes sense to us in the animal kingdom, but we don't see ourselves like that. We don't realize sometimes our actions are more detrimental than our positive words. Our negative actions are more detrimental than our positive words. We may be saying to someone, don't do A, don't do B, don't do C. Telling our kids, telling our siblings, telling our family and friends, don't go down the road I'm going down. I'm whatever. We're copycats by nature, so be careful. And so much so until, interestingly enough, he's saying his family, 6 siblings, all became addicted to drugs. That is powerful, and that would seem very unlikely, but there's something to it. I want to shout out a couple people making comments here, Derrick. There's some people who LaVonna Jackson, she said, you may not remember her, but she said she loves you. She said you helped her when she was at SRCC. She said, great man, never judged, could talk to him about anything. She said, thank you. She's so grateful. You helped change her life. So
you're welcome. Yes.
That's powerful.
It's a blessing. Powerful. Keep doing what you're doing. Yes.
Yes.
That's why I do what I do.
Amen.
Go ahead.
We have Ashley Hoover here. That's your her daughter is your granddaughter.
That's my grandbaby.
My daughter's Pawpaw. Yep, that's right. Great man. That's how I met him. Was through you, Ashley, and the girls playing basketball together.
Yes.
So shout out to her as well. So, and we have another question here. Damon had a question, but we're gonna wait a little bit. So continue on a little bit for us, and so. Everybody at some point was addicted to drugs, but you said you had found Christ as a teenager at basketball camp.
Yes.
But this was before drug addiction, right?
Before drug addiction. This was before I got addicted to.
But I thought once you found Christ, every day with Jesus is sweeter than the day before. That's what they tell us sometimes, don't they?
Yes. If you don't practice an exercise and you stop, the pattern and you get away from it, you lose it. So, and that's what happened. It took me to graduate from school, decided to go to Stark State. I wasn't feeling school at that time. So a good friend of mine got me a job at Goodyear. I got a job at Goodyear at 19. So I was making some good money. And making good money, working, taking good care of my son. He was the most important thing to me at that time. And I also traveled back and forth to California because my Uncle Marvin, my dad's brother, he played music for Della Reese for 25 years. So, I would travel out there because, my dad always told me, he said, man, live. He said, there's something in you that I see that reminds me of my brother. His younger brother was a star, and he was like, you got it. He said, you have it. You got the intelligence, you got the personality, but he said, I want you to see the world. I don't want you to be here in Canton, because he just, he felt something about me and my dad. We were just connected. I want to be like my dad, because he was a loving father. He didn't judge us. So he wanted the best for us. But, we chose our path, and our path was, not the best. But I tell you, I went on and worked that Goodyear. So here's kind of where I want to get into the cocaine use. So people always say, man, how did you get caught up in cocaine? Well, a friend of mine, had cocaine one night. Pot of cocaine. Len Bias had just died. He was an athlete, and he got drafted. Boston Celtics, right?
Big story.
And I'm like, no, man. I said,
tell him about Len Bias real quick. Just give him the short version of that.
Len Bias was a bad boy, number 1 pick. I think he played at Maryland, if I'm not mistaken, or one of them big major colleges. And then he didn't make it to the NBA because he tried cocaine and it killed him. And but they still drafted him, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember right. And so anyhow, my friend, he had some cocaine. I was like, man, what you doing? I'll make a long story short. He's like, man, just try it, man. I mean, come on, like, just try it. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, man. It's the peer pressure, man. That's that peer pressure. I tried it, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you, it didn't get him hooked, but it got me hooked. My first time trying cocaine, powder cocaine, I fell in love with it. I was 22 years old. From 22 to 24 years old, I snorted cocaine every day,
Wow.
and I was having cocaine convulsions. In fact, I think when I was out,
What is a cocaine convulsion?
well, seizures.
Mm-hmm.
Where you go do. I can't, I want to wake up, but I can't.
Yeah.
It's a scary feeling. It's the worst feeling. And I never forget this at 24 years old. Now, from 22 to 24, I also got a disease called uveitis, which attacks the eyesight. And it was a cut that they was cutting cocaine with that was attacking my eyesight. I was going blind, losing my eyesight. So I wouldn't tell the people at the Cleveland Clinic that I was snorting cocaine, but God had a different plan for me. I had this one bad seizure, this convulsion I never forget. And this is when I stopped snorting cocaine. I snorted so much. I remember snorting all week. But this particular day, my dad was home, and I could hear his voice. He was saying, Rick, 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 and it fainted. And I was like, God, please don't let me die. Don't let me die. I want to say, Dad, help me, but I can't. And I
Wow.
remember opening my eyes, and I could see the fear in my dad's face. He said, man, what is going on with you? And I said, man, Dad, I'm messing up. I've been doing cocaine.
Wow.
That was the last time I did pot of cocaine.
Wow.
That was the last day I did pot of cocaine. Now I'm going to tell you, at this time, this is the story where it really gets tricky and it's get real, because I asked my friend,
Yeah.
where'd you get that cocaine from? He said, I don't want to tell you. He said, so where you get it from? He said, I got it from your brother. I'm like, my brother was hiding it from me. He didn't want me to know that he was selling it.
Wow.
And so when he found out that I did it, I couldn't go nowhere else. And so I had to go to him. And so he had it and I got it. And it was just he was my, hey, he watched me. He made sure that, I didn't go nowhere else. He didn't want me doing it. He was
Wow.
pissed, but guess what? I'm on it. I mean, you can't
He knew
stop
you
me,
were.
young brother. I'm
Yeah.
on it. You shouldn't be doing that, but I'm on it. I didn't
That's
want to be, when I
powerful.
got hooked, it was crazy. But at that time at 24, he got busted.
Mm-hmm.
I got in, I felt like, okay, I can, make some money, help him out. So I got into selling it. So I got into selling
Wow.
cocaine, and I was making a lot of money. And I hate boasting and even talking about it, but it's my life. I was
Sure.
selling it,
Yep.
making a lot of
And using
money.
it still.
And at this point in time, I hadn't
Okay, you were
tried.
done
I
using it.
stopped using cocaine, powder
Okay.
cocaine. I
Okay,
hadn't
pot of
even
cocaine,
done
right.
crack. I was selling cocaine. I was selling
And at
crack
that time, were you saying you were clean from?
from 24 to 25.
Okay, clean.
Clean.
You went into
From
business.
I'm
Now
working out, back into working out. I'm back in
you're
the
selling.
hooping, still back into my element, still working, still
Okay.
traveling, still taking care of my son, and now
Yep.
I'm making money. Now I'm dealing with four major drug dealers, and I'm making I have all kind of money. So,
Yeah.
and I'm one of my friends, I was selling to him, and selling crack, man. It takes everything you have. And I said, man, why? What do you get? He gets paid. He give me his paycheck, and I'm like, man, dude, what do you get out of this? Um, he said, dude, it'll get you like that too. And I'll never forget this. This is a point, a very crucial point too,
Whew.
that stands out. I was selling this cocaine with crack one day, and this woman said, I'll give you these food stamps. And I remember looking at the kids, and I'm like, man, what kind of guy sell dope to a woman
Right.
and take these food stamps? And I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. That's not who I was. I couldn't take
Right.
advantage of women because I
Yep.
wasn't built like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not to
Yep.
just get to
Take
have
advantage
sex
of her
or to
like
have
that.
or to be. That
Yep.
wasn't me. I just wanted to get high. So make a long
Yep.
story short, when my friend said it'll get you like that, my ego was big, man. I had a big ego. And I had all this dope on me. And I'm like, shoot, roll that thing up, man. And I remember hitting that crack for the first time, dude. I was 25 years old. By the
Wow.
time I was 30, I was homeless.
Wow.
I
Hold on,
had,
hold on, hold on, hold on. Let's pause. Let's let everybody let that set in. People are really excited and appreciative that you're sharing your story. Cassandra Wisdom said, "What a courageous story. God bless you. Grateful for your story." Another lady, wonderful lady, Miss Gail Danzy said, "I did everything but prostitution, and folks don't like that I tell that, but that has helped me help others.
Yes,
And
sir.
I was a Christian at the time." So thank you, Gail, for
Yes.
sharing your story. As
Yes.
Derrick, you're sharing yours. See, this is allowing us to see somebody watching this hasn't been set free. That's why this liberation is another part of this show. Somebody hasn't been set free yet because you're struggling with addiction right now, and you feel like I'm talking to you, and I am talking to you. Somebody right now is struggling with addiction, and you are too ashamed to get help. You don't want to say anything to anybody, so you're hiding it. You're sneaking around. You're ashamed of yourself. Maybe you're quarantined now, so you can't go hide where you used to hide, and now you're around your kids or your family, and you're ashamed and you're
Yes.
struggling. There is help out there for you, and we'll make sure we give you guys some resources today. But it's so important that you admit your struggle. People will help you if you admit it. And then there's somebody else out there who has recovered, and you're too ashamed to tell people where you've come from. And now somebody else is out there feeling alone because there's nobody out there like these were like Derrick, like Gail, who are brave enough to say, I was one of those people. I struggled with that, and now I've recovered, and you can too. So,
Yes.
Derrick, just thank you so much for sharing this.
Oh
It's making
yeah,
a
yes,
difference.
man. Yeah, and the thing is, I went to 5 treatment centers. A
Mhm.
lot of, I mean, I thought cocaine was bad, crack was.
What was
I
it
mean,
like? So tell us about the first high. I've heard people talk
oh
about
my
that first
gosh,
high and how they're chasing that then
Whew, my gosh, man!
forever.
I tell you, man, it's that first high was something that you chase every single time. Every time I smoked
Wow.
crack, it was like I'm that first hit. I can have $1,000 and that $1,000 is gone. It's gone within a
Mm,
matter of 2 days,
wow.
because you chasing something that's giving you only at its peak 8 minutes high before you
Wow.
start coming down. So you want to keep that high going, and for me it was like, I had a lot of resources on the street so I could get
Mm-hmm.
high every day. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a horrible thing because getting high every day it was eating at me. I was losing weight. I was just a mess, man. And
Mm,
then when I shared this story, my son, he was, for some reason or another, I always made sure he had what he needed. But and I hid that addiction from him. I was like, I'm a high class bum. I mean, I look good on the outside. I
wow.
dress good. Y'all don't see me, but behind closed doors, I'm getting
Mm,
high with people who was deacons. So there was a lot of people who
mm,
was masking their addiction as well.
wow.
So it was, and a lot of people that we admire, I was getting high with. So it was not for me to judge them because I'm in the trenches with them. And I'll
Right.
never forget that I say, I don't care what I go through. I ain't gonna never be on the streets, you know, um,
Mm-hmm.
getting high and waiting on somebody to give me some dope. And I tell you what, my addiction, you could say that, but my addiction did the opposite, made me do the opposite. I was on that block. I was, you know, begging for dope sometimes, you know what I'm saying? I was, going all out. I was pawning my stuff, man,
So
and
that
just
stuff we see in the movies
that stuff
where
you see in the
people are
movies
doing
is
whatever, they're
real, man.
stealing, they're,
Oh man,
selling their stuff, they whatever they
yeah,
can to get it.
yeah.
That's real.
I didn't steal, but
Mm-hmm.
you might as well say I borrowed a lot of money and couldn't pay it back. Just put it like that from
Yeah, yeah.
family. But pawning your TV. I mean, I remember the most embarrassing thing probably at the time was an embarrassment. I can't imagine being 135 pounds, 140 with a 25-inch TV going to the pawn shop. And the TV was $200 some dollars. I only get $20. That's enough just to get a rock. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
That's the kind of that's where my addiction took me. It
Yeah.
took me to places where I didn't want to go. And, truly in my heart, I didn't want to be that individual. But it was like, man, I can't stop. Me and my dad and my mom they knew that I was on it. They knew that I wanted to stop. I didn't at the time too, I didn't tell you, I met a young lady and my
Mm-hmm.
addiction ruined that relationship. At the end,
Mm-hmm.
it takes away everything. And so what happened is, at I'll go through 5 treatment centers, and then eh, it's like, man, this stuff don't work. You know why it doesn't work? It's
Mm.
because I wasn't applying it. So um, I'm in a crack house. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I got fired at Goodyear.
Okay, now
Yep.
listen,
Oh,
hold
go
on.
back. I'm gonna
I
go.
want to no, I want to clarify because there's a lot of things we talk about
Mhm.
like almost like urban legend, urban myth. We talk about these things, but a lot of people have never experienced it. So someone says I was addicted to crack. Somebody says I was chasing a high. People don't understand that. So you clarified that feeling, that first high is so powerful, and then after that you're chasing that first high.
Chasing
You
the
just
food.
said you went to recovery, so that was a house or somewhere. You went to some recovery facility 5 times, and then now you're saying you were in a crack house. We picture these old boarded up buildings, these old houses that somebody lived in, or some people is running around. The drug dealers are in there. What is it like? Take us inside the crack house. What was it like for you? What was that experience? What's
Oh
going
man,
on in there?
it's what's going on there is it's a lot of stuff. I saw a lot of things, man, and I saw a lot of things that was
Help us
disgusting.
understand
Okay,
some of the. I mean, we want to be
let me get.
real.
I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real. I saw women pull, doing tricks for dope. I
Mm,
seen people come in. I was in the basement for days, just with a rabbit, a real live rabbit. A rabbit was like I was hallucinating. The rabbit was like a friend. Like I felt like the rabbit understood me when I would tell
wow.
the people in the crack house, like I'm done. I'm gonna stop. The people in the car, oh, you cool, because you spending money. But at the
Yep.
same time, I'm sick, man. I'm like, I would tell people I'm sick on this stuff, man. I want to stop. But they be like, cool out, baby boy. That's what they call me, baby boy. Cool
Mm,
out. I be in there with women. They go back in the back room, do their thing, come back out with dope. The drug dealers come through, addicts come through. All
mm.
depends on, where you at.
The
Different
addicts are
houses.
just hanging around in there.
Hang,
Dealers are
and
in there. It's a
everybody's
casino
paranoid.
for drugs.
It's a casino for drugs where everybody is paranoid.
Wow.
Everybody is quiet, paranoid, peeking out the window,
Mm,
on their hands and knees, telling people to be quiet because they're high and paranoid. So it's a high that kind of makes you hallucinate. It's almost,
mm,
and I tell people it's like almost. I did a thing like a person with schizophrenia,
mm.
that's hallucinating, that's hearing things that's not the visually there, or it's just has you tripping.
Right.
And I never forget being at a training where I wanted to see what it was like with a mental illness. And I did this training where I had to wear these headphones like I do now for 2 hours, no, for 4 hours, hearing voices talking to me and, laughing and trying to understand what the speaker is saying just to get an understanding of what people with schizophrenia
Mm.
go through. Well, it was like that for me when I was doing crack cocaine.
Wow.
I was hallucinating. I was
Wow.
tripping. I saw a lot of stuff that I didn't like. It was disgusting, but I couldn't stop. But
Wow.
I would tell you this how good God is because in the crack house, that's where I called out to God. I said, God, I was on my hands and knees. I said, I don't care. If you deliver me from this drug, and I mean, if you
Mm.
deliver me, I'll become a soldier for you for the rest of my life. I
Wow.
will do your will because if I'm doing your will, I know I'm in the right place and I know that
Mm.
I won't be in these situations no more. And
Yes.
he delivered me, but not right there at that moment. It was a week later where I said, you know what? He took the taste out of my mouth and I flew out to
Wow.
California. I got fired at Goodyear. I've been there for 9 years, under 9.5 years, and I gave it to Goodyear. I'm like smoking crack. I'm getting high with this girl, and I tell this young lady, I said, you know what? Hold up, I gotta stop. I'll be right back. She said, where you going? I said, I'm going to get fired. She looked at me like, what is wrong with this dude? This is how bad I was. This is how crazy
Wow.
this drug had me, dude. Go down there, get fired. People love me. I'm a good person. They love me. They were crying. They hated. Don't give them another chance. The union was fighting for me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, hurry up and fire me because I got dope out in the car and I want to get to this dope. It didn't
Wow.
dawn on me until 11 hours later when the dope is gone, that the smoke is gone, that I ain't got no job.
Wow. You have no way to even supply this
Okay,
habit.
now I got to get out there and really hustle and do some of the things that I was totally against as far as selling the supply, just to get high,
Yeah.
supply, that routine,
Yeah.
and then I was able to get myself to a place when I called out to God. I was 30 years old, I think I was. And from that point on, man, I can tell you.
What year? Okay, so let's go. Let's just
This
get
was
the
the
years.
90s. This was the 90s,
Okay, and
from
there was a
early
crack
90s.
epidemic. I mean, the
It
crack
was
cocaine
bad.
in the
Yeah.
inner cities across our
Yeah.
country, and it's still out there, but it was
It
horrible.
was horrible back then.
Early '90s, mid '90s. So, what
Yes.
year did you say you started, and then what year were you delivered from it?
So I started when I was in 88, in 88,
Okay,
and I was
okay,
delivered from it in 96. March 3rd,
delivered.
delivered March 1st in 1996 was my last hit of cocaine.
All right, now we gotta hear this, and I'm gonna go back. Damon had a question. He said, "How and why?" So I think you spoke to some of those things, like how do you get on crack? I think you spoke to that. Why would you do it? I think you spoke to that. But help us understand a little bit more about the deliverance piece there. I mean, that is unusual. That's not the route. If you were you help people now who have
Yeah,
addiction.
yes.
You don't
Mhm.
go to most. Or you tell me. Do you go to most of them and say, "Get down on your knees, pray to God, and
No,
He'll deliver you"?
no,
That's the best way to
no,
do it.
no. It's not like that. I mean, that's rare that somebody gonna get on their hands and knees in the crack house. First of all,
Mm-hmm. Right.
that was just, I was just tired. I'm not saying that
Yeah.
it don't happen. People they can get on their hands and knees at home
Sure.
and be delivered. But for me, I had 5 treatment episodes and 5 treatment at Glen Bay, and I knew the tools. They are giving me the tools. I never applied them, you know,
Mm.
because of my environment. I was in the environment. I leave the treatment facility, do well for a little bit, and then I'm in the environment. So you're a product of your environment. I want to stay clean, but shoot, they getting high. I smell it. I see it. I got to,
Mm.
I want to do right, but I'm right back in the same environment. So
Mm.
that was a trigger for me. That kept me getting right back in. Every time it get worse and worse and worse. It never gets better. And
Yeah.
so at this time, I'm 96 March. I say my long-term sobriety date is March 3rd, 1996, is because March 2nd I had some dope and I tested and um,
Mm-hmm.
I just gave it away. I didn't even want it no more. And me and my mom and dad were packing my stuff, and I'll never forget that moment.
Wow.
March 2nd, 1996. They're crying because they think I'm gonna go out to California and die. I mean,
Wow.
I
They
and
thought you were going to go out there and
what
continue your habit.
yeah, because I tried to commit suicide in terms I didn't want to
Mm.
live no more. I was so disgusted with myself. I didn't even like
Wow.
looking at myself. Suicide was a thought. I want to blow my heart up. I'm gonna smoke till my heart blow up. You
Wow.
know,
So you were going
and
to die. You were going to kill
yes,
yourself with the drug.
I tried to do it, and it just and the
Wow.
people that was with me that night put me in a cold shower and got me to calm down, man. I tell you, it was an experience that I was
That.
in a dark space.
Wow.
That when I called out to God, and I'm telling you, He delivered me. He delivered
Mm.
me. I had not had a desire since March 2nd, 1996 to current. Crack
That
cocaine is not an option.
That is
It's
such a powerful thing. I
yes.
want us to catch that as well. I have never heard of that, to be honest with you. This is my first time ever hearing somebody say that. Maybe our listeners out there, maybe you guys have heard this type of thing before. I personally have not. Because when someone dies of an overdose, I assume they just went too far. They just couldn't stop. They just wanted too many highs in a row. But I never heard anybody say, well, they intentionally overdosed on the drug because they were so sick of themselves they couldn't stand to look at themselves in the mirror.
Yeah.
Had you died, people might have just said you overdosed. They might not have known that you
Right.
were
Right.
committing suicide with the
Yes.
drug, but you're telling us that's an actual thing.
It was the actual act that I tried because I said I'd rather
Wow.
be dead than live like this, man. I can't. I'm better than that. I knew I was better than that. It was just a air that I was in, man. That I was an addict. You know, people with addiction. What is addiction? You know, you got to understand what addiction is. That's why I was able to reach a lot of folks because not just because I've been there, but some education, a lot of other
What
things.
is it? Tell us. What is
You know,
addiction? What is it?
addiction is a powerful thing. It's something that you cannot control. It's something that takes a hold of you that you lose total control over. You know, people want to, if you want the book versions, you got a lot of people, a lot of psychologists give you the book version that every 3 or 4 times you use, there's some type of consequences. I mean, for
Mm.
me, it was just out of control. My life was not, I had no control of my life. I couldn't,
Mhm.
I was obsessed. I became compulsive and
Yeah.
self-centered. So it was all about me,
Yeah.
you know, and that's the saddest point. You become a selfish person and it's all about you.
That's
Even though when you have your loved ones telling you, man, stop, you better, you better than that. It resonate after I got clean, the things that I, uh, saw and things that the person that I became. I just
hmm
want to get to this point.
Yes.
I'm sober now. At 30, I fly out to California the night, March 2nd. My mom and dad crying. They thought I was going to go out there and die. I get my life together. Part of going out there, my insurance was like, no, you got to go back to Canton. I said, man, I'll go back to Canton 4 days. They said, you got to go back to Canton. I said, I go back to Canton, I'm going to die, man. I said, I can't go back.
Mm.
So they had sober houses. So I got into a sober house. And part of that sober house was $600 a month, little bed, 3 dresser drawers.
Mm.
They telling me you got to go to 5 meetings a day. 5 meetings a day, man, out in
Mm.
California. 90 days, that's 450 meetings. That's my foundation. I found me. I was
Wow.
journaling. I was, praying. I was going to church. I was working the 12 steps. I was doing all the things that they suggested. For once, I listened and
Mm.
things started changing for me. I
Awesome.
started feeling like I can do this thing again. I'm running, I'm working out, I'm starting to look good, I'm starting to feel good. And came back to Ohio probably several months later and never looked back. It was
Wow.
straightforward. I can do this thing. I'm going to do this thing and I'm not getting back. And then people try to get me back in there, but it was just not an option for me. This was an option. So, and how I got
Yeah.
into the treatment field itself was because uh, I was helping people. I was going to pick them up and take them to meetings. And a friend of mine, I was like, man, I want to do a part-time, job, working, making good
hmm
money. I said, how do you get a part-time job here? He said, man, you good. Don't you worry about it. Got a job just like that, and that's
Mm.
SRCCC, Stark Regional Community Correctional Center. That's how I got into the treatment field, and that's
Okay.
when everything changed for me, man. I just trusted God, a blind leap of faith, and quit a job making $18 an hour, started a job at $10 an hour, just to be in the field to help others, and also go
That's
back to school,
powerful.
and the rest is history. And I can
That's
tell
so
you,
good.
man, God has been so good over the years.
Yeah.
Man, I've been in places speaking and motivating people in prisons and
Yeah.
all over, World Cocaine Anonymous conventions, you name it, Toronto. I mean, I've
Right.
been a lot of different places, tri-state guest speaker. Those are just all accolades that God has used me to put me, because I told him that day, if you deliver me from this, you use me like the people on the streets use me.
hmm
That's what he did.
Wow. That is a powerful step. People are saying this. Uh, Tina Weller said powerful, powerful statement. She also earlier she said awesome friend and motivational speaker.
Yes.
Yes, Tina, thank you so much for joining the show. Thank you so much for your comments. Tyler, thank you again for the love you're showing for this great speaker today. Karen Stafford said your realness will resonate with someone. I think we can feel it. Somebody is getting set free. Somebody is getting healed. Somebody is seeing
Yes.
that today is the day to take the steps they need to take.
Yeah.
Angela Hardesty said addiction is real and it's the hardest chain to break. She's been honest about her story. She's 9 years clean from
Yes.
opioid addiction, from pain pills. And
Hmm.
she said God was her only way out. So,
Yes.
Angela, we appreciate it. She's a loyal
Yes.
fan of the show. She enjoys all the topics, and this is a topic that hits close to home. So we thank her for that. I also we have a question here. Darlene said, after you came through addiction, can you talk about healing relationships with loved ones? How
Yes.
did you mend the relationships?
It's a process, of working the 12 steps. I mean, I worked through the 12 steps. Part of the working through the 12 steps is, making amends to people that you had harmed or did something to. And you go to those individuals and You know, it says step 8 says made a list of all people you have harmed and became willing to make amends to them. And it's a list of individuals. You just do that. I did that. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to injure them or others. I did that. I continue to take personal inventory, and when I'm wrong, I promptly admit it. These are the steps that I'm quoting right now. And there's a prayer that says, step 11 says, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for the knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. If you really break down these steps and you understand what the steps represent, it's gonna take you to a place where you're gonna get your relationship back with God, and you're gonna heal, inner healing. My mother, my father, before he passed away, my family were the people that I hurt. And so for me, it was about me showing them. And I made this statement to my dad, because my dad was preparing me for his death. That's why I came back to Ohio. He was telling me, he said, son, I need you to get your, life together, because I'm gonna need you to take care of your mom. I'm not gonna be here long. And so when I came home, my dad, I made sure I was with my dad every single day until he died. He died in 97. And then in 2001, my brother, who that I was buying dope from, and my brother that I idolized, who I was closest to, he was my go-to person and everything, he got murdered. He was shot. July 22nd, 2001. And then 2002, my first cousin came out of the penitentiary. He said, I'm hanging on to your coattail, cuz you're doing your thing. He wanted to get clean. He got clean. He had an aneurysm and died. And then 2003, my grandmother died. And then in 2005, my aunt died. And then in 2007, my mom died. So it was like, man, my mom, it was like everything. And I said to my mom, you will never have to worry about nobody taking care of you. You will never have to worry about a dollar. You will never have to pay nobody to take you anywhere. I was there. And how you mend those relationships is by being there, being present. My son, I was present to with, there for my son. My son had took the path that I've taken, and then God had brought a woman in my life who I'm married to and been married to for 22 years. She was into church, and that's kind of what really, really got me into the word, because that's was the thing she did, and I was doing my thing with the AA meetings and all those things like that. But we meshed together, and God had provided us a beautiful life, man, a beautiful life.
That is such a beautiful story. And Darlene, thank you so much for your question.
Yes, that's a good question.
Lester said, thank you for sharing. Gail said, absolutely, totally real. Sharon Lucas, that's my cousin. She knows. She said, "Hey Lucas." She said she called you Rick. She knows you from Rick.
She knows me, Rick.
Hey Lucas, hey Rick. Yeah. So hey Sharon, thank you for joining the show, Miss Sharon. Glad to have you here today. People are really happy about that. And Damon said, "What the best part is that you chose your field not for monetary gain, but to help people." And he said, "Thank you for that. That's powerful to be able to turn down money. Most people." That's not the American way. That's not the American dream. It's about money and success. But you faced all of that. You went through the addiction. You finally got clean. You started to be proud of who you are. To mend those relationships, you had to go back and spend the time and heal and repair. And I think that's so big. So often I think we want people to just forgive us suddenly. We want to say, I'm better now. I'm sorry. I said I was sorry. Get over it. But you're saying it took time. You had to spend time with people. You had to prove to them.
I had to prove to them. It took me over a year to build trust with my dad. It took me for my dad to give me a couple $1,000s to take care of his business. He was waiting till he could trust me. I'll never forget when he said, "Man, I need you to go take care of this. Take this money." And it was a Friday, and I got off work and I didn't get to the bank. This is the first time I had $2,000, and I'm thinking, that's addiction coming up. But you know what? I said, it's about doing the right thing. I built that trust back with my dad. I'm gonna do the right thing. I didn't let that money, talk me into, or my own behavior, because it's your thinking. If you don't change your thinking, man. You gotta change your thinking. The thinking and the behavior, all that stuff comes together. I think the most important thing, though, if anybody out there struggling, that really truly want to get off, you really got to reach out to some people and just say, man, I'm struggling. Because it was no secret
Right.
for me. My family knew what I was struggling with, and they didn't want me on that on the drug. They wanted me off. But I knew how
Yes.
bad I was, and they knew how bad I was. A lot of people didn't know that I was. They look at me today because I'm involved in so much stuff that they don't even
Right.
look at me as a person who was once a crackhead, as you wanted. They used to say. I used to
Yeah.
hate that word crackhead because that's what I was, a
Interesting.
crackhead. It's crazy. But
Wow.
today
I
is a
love that
beautiful.
you say that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love that you say that because I think it's important. The stigma behind it, the
yes,
crackheads out here, crackheads. But to see somebody, most of them, sad as it is, the guy who I would have said was when I was a young teenager, our neighborhood crackhead. He was the guy. I mean, there was some out there, but he
yeah,
was the guy always begging. He was the guy always, clothes falling off. He's so thin. He was
yeah,
just a mess. And he was the neighborhood
yeah,
crackhead. Even as a teenager, he was much older than us, but we didn't have any respect for him. It was like, come on, man, get yourself together. You look, this is crazy.
yeah,
And then even some of my teenage friends were selling drugs to him because he's a customer, and they're
yes,
not mad that he's addicted because that's how they do their business. And even as young
yes,
people, they were out there making money off of this man who was addicted, and they called him, a crackhead. That was a very popular term to talk about it when we don't realize there's stories behind these people's lives and that there are people who were crackheads, straight up. I mean,
yes.
just to be honest, such as yourself,
Like
who are
myself.
now recovered. That is not something that most people hear about. So
No,
thank you
no.
again for sharing that.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Like I told you, I'm an open book. I'm doing a lot of positive things today, which I'm so proud of myself. So sometimes you don't give
Yeah,
yourself credit. You are
that's
your own
right.
brand. You are that individual. God has a purpose for my life. I just had to get in line and in tune and focus in and say, God, to even this day, pray, give me the direction,
Yeah,
take over. I'm just
yeah,
rolling with you today. I don't even, I don't even want to get in, to the place again to say, I'm doing this. I'm not doing anything. God has done all this for me, and I have a beautiful life. You know,
yeah.
as you can see, my grandbaby. I got 10 grandbabies, not just
Uh huh.
a rare, but I got 10
Yeah.
grandbabies. I got
Uh
a
huh.
blended family. I got 3 sons. You know, and if you see us all together, you wouldn't even know. I mean, we got nothing but love for one another, and
That's
they look up
awesome.
to me as a man of God and a man who's doing the right thing.
That's
Am I
beautiful.
perfect? No. Have I done this
No, not
24
me
years
neither.
perfect? Come on, no, I haven't. But I tell you
No.
what, it's the best thing that could have ever happened to me was,
Yeah.
the devil was mad. He thought he had me,
He
as they
was
say.
mad. He thought he
He
had
was
you.
mad. He thought he had me.
Woo! It's bigger than those songs, right? People are singing those songs. The
Man,
devil thought he had me,
yes,
but Jesus
yes.
came and grabbed me. He
He,
saved your
he
life and
saved my
saved your
life, man.
soul. This
Yeah,
is powerful, and I
yeah,
and I
man.
say this to everybody about this show. Okay, this is not. I've been in ministry since I was 19, but this is not church. This show is not church, and
Right.
I'm even careful and at times critical of some of the ways we do church and the way we do people around church. And if you're not, just so, and if you don't do all the right things, I've been going to church most of my life, but I'm not a churchy person. And what I mean, I'm religious about my relationship with Jesus, but I'm not religious in this way of arrogance or I'm better than or you
No.
can't do anything or you're not saved anymore. I don't
Yes.
live like that. I don't believe that. And I think it's so important for people to see people like yourself who are serving God, who have a story to
Yeah.
tell. And there's a lady here, Keisha Davis. She said, powerful story. She said, his sister is my neighbor. But when I see him come, her picture is, I don't know, wait. I looked over at her picture. Now, listen now, Lakeisha Davis, authoress, I don't know what that is, but we gotta work on that picture there. I think that's a joke, but it messed me up. It messed me up. It says, powerful story. She said, his sister is my neighbor. But when I see him come to her house, I never would have thought he'd been through all that he's been through. So she said
Yeah.
she's grateful for that. And then Joe Nay, she said,
My
"Oh, hey,
baby.
Uncle Rick." She said, "I love you and thanks for sharing your truth." Joe Nay,
Yes.
one of my favorite
That's my
people,
baby there.
and
Yes. Yes.
that's
Yes.
awesome,
Yes.
awesome,
She's
awesome,
yeah, she's
awesome.
great. Yeah, man. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
I mean, this is what it's all about. I watch your show. I think what you're doing is a powerful a thing. You getting the message out there. You're getting people out on your show to be able to educate others. And that's what it's all about. Like, we in this
Yeah.
thing together, man. There's no,
Absolutely.
I'm better than you or you better than me. I mean, we're a culture. We got to believe in one another and uplift each other. I
Yes.
work in a predominantly white area, and it's not,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't see color as a barrier, to, I don't,
Yes.
addiction as a, uh, doesn't discriminate. It doesn't matter what color you are,
Right.
I work with some of the most difficult clients, because to
Mm.
me, that tests my skill level. I mean, the people that can
Good.
give you lip service is easy. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
I'm doing that. No, give me the most difficult client, because that's the one that's gonna
Wow.
make you a better counselor. Because you got to use your skills to help them really see themselves in a different light. And
Yes.
that's the biggest blessing that I get, is being able
Yes.
to work with people who truly don't want it to confuse or don't know where they want to be in their life. And then that's when I can easily, slip in there and just plant a seed and move, because that's what it's all
Yes.
about. It's planting seeds. And I
I
think
love it.
God has allowed me to do that with some of the most difficult clients. I'll share this, and then
Sure.
I'll let you go.
Go for
But
it.
it was a client that had white power, white power. And the
Mm.
judge, I'm running a drug court program, and the counselor's struggling, and she's like, there. I mean, he doesn't like any blacks. I asked the
Mm.
judge, I said, let me work with him. Give me 4 sessions with him.
Mm.
And she said, you really want to work with him? And yeah, yes, let me work with him. It's a reason behind why he put that on his arms. It's always a reason
Right.
why a person is doing what they're doing. You just got
Yep.
to get through it. So I got with him 4 sessions. I got to the heart of to what was going on with him, and I knew his hurt and pain and why he felt the way he felt. Guess
Mm-hmm.
what? He didn't view all black people as bad people.
Wow.
It took for him to see me be able to share a little bit of my story and understand that sometimes you're going to feel a certain way because certain people do certain things to you. And so that
Mm.
kind of formulated his opinion on black folks, you know,
Wow.
and, being in the institution and being, whatever he went through, kind of formulated him
It
to
shaped who he
join the
was.
game and shook
Yep.
him. But in the outcome, the client ended up being one of my better clients and one of my great, because he was honest and transparent. And I think that's what
Yeah.
it's all about. When you trying to get clean, don't don't lie to people.
Yeah.
You're lying to yourself. So when
Yes.
I got honest with me, I was able to get honest with you, and then that's when life's changed for me. And even to this
Wow.
day, it's just a great, just a great place in my life. I'm in a place in my life right now that I'm building my brand. For once in my life, I'm doing something that I know that I'm going to do, and that's building
Yes.
Derrick's brand. DerrickVJenkins.com. Go to
Woo.
DerrickVJenkins.com. Check
Check
out
it
my
out.
website. Check out the video on there if you haven't already seen it, from Pain to Purpose.
Yep.
I'm on Instagram. I'm like a guy who hates social media, but
Uh-huh.
now I got a Instagram page.
All right.
I got it, but it ain't. It's
You ain't using it
DVJ.
that
It's DVJ
much.
Motivation. I just got it. DVJ Motivation. I got a Facebook page,
Okay.
DVJ Motivation. So check it out.
Yep.
And
There's the
there you
website
go.
there. You
You go to
guys
the
check
website
out the
right there.
website.
And I got some
DerrickVJenkins.com.
skills. It's about building your brand, and I think that's when I got out of Shanika Dean. It's
Shanika
about
Dean. Yeah.
yeah,
Dr. Dean.
investing in
Yeah.
yourself, and that's one of the most important things. And I think that's where I'm at in my life right now. That's where I'm at,
Yeah.
And
Powerful.
thank you for
So
having me, man.
powerful.
Thanks for having me
Well,
on this show.
Derrick, Rick, however people know you, so glad to have
Yes,
you. I want to thank you, Emmanuel Turner. He said, glad to see you again. He's here watching from LinkedIn. Cherie says, amazing testimony. Lisa Lucas, Lisa Sims, she said, Cork and Canvas. She said, I've known Rick before, during, and
yes,
after. Praise God, you are allowing
yes,
God to use you to help others.
yes.
Amen. Shout out to
Thanks.
my cousin Lisa there. I'm so glad to have her, and Sharon, her sister Sharon, said, thanks for sharing, Rick. Rick is my family too. Much
Yes,
love. Glory to
yes,
God.
yes,
Living your purpose, living a great purpose. That is so powerful. So thank you again. Your story was powerful. Your transparency was refreshing. It's not easy always for people to tell the raw, true story. You know, they want to clean it up, or they want to, usually people go on shows and they talk to the producers and they say, well, don't ask that question and don't talk about that thing. And here on Lucas Live, we like to get to the real. I don't think we're going to help anybody if all we do is have cookie cutter conversations that everybody's heard on every other show before. We want to get real. We want to say what we were. You said I was addicted to drugs. I was a crackhead, is what they call it. I was out there. I was losing weight. I was ashamed of myself. I wanted to kill myself. I attempted to kill myself using the drug. And you said you were in a crack house for days. You said you did drugs every day for 2 years straight. And you said you were in that crack house, down on your knees, praying to God for deliverance. And you said something powerful. You said he took the taste out of your mouth. Ladies and gentlemen, it is powerful what God can do. And on top of it, you said, but don't count on it. One thing my dad said is don't count on a deathbed conversion. He said, don't think you're going to wait to your deathbed and be like the thief on the cross and say, Jesus, I accept you, and think you're going to go to heaven, because everybody's not going to have that ability to accept Christ at that last moment. And everybody's not going to have the taste taken out of their mouth for whatever your addiction is or whatever your problem is in one moment. You're going to often need support. You're going to need help. You're going to need treatment. You're going to need to talk to people like our guest here, Derrick. Check him out at DerrickVJenkins.com to get more help, to get more support, to learn more about how he can help you or your organization with things going on right now and people can't travel and speak. He could do it virtually. He could do it like this. And if he needs help, Derrick, you call me and I'll set you up virtually so you can speak to the people.
There you go.
And do some training to help people out. But if anybody out there is struggling, make sure you reach out so we can offer you guys some help and some services. And thank you again to our wonderful, wonderful, loyal audience. For those that it's your first time, thank you for being here. For those that have saw the article in the paper or however you may have heard about this show, I want to thank you. If you're watching this by replay, if you're on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, LinkedIn, you're a part of our family. You matter to us. We thank you for being here. If you want to join the inner circle, text Lucas Live, all one word, Lucas, Lucas, live to 31996 and get on the inside track, get in the inner circle so you can stay up to date with everything we have going on. Ladies and gentlemen, we have another great show coming up tomorrow. We'll have two great young men who we're going to have a discussion about mentorship and the power of it and the need for it. We're going to talk about them being mentored. One young man, a couple of these young men who I've worked with throughout my life, and they're going to share some things about their life and their stories and encourage us to be mentors and to look at ways of doing that and the power of it and what it meant to them as young men. Wednesday, we have a wonderful woman who has built a huge following on social media called Black Christian Influencers. She started a YouTube page 2 days ago, I think, and has 1,000 subscribers already. I'm not jealous. I'm just saying it's amazing. Jackie the Educator, she's gonna be here on Wednesday, and then we have a great couple here on Thursday. Dan and Destiny Harsh. Their children were in the Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood movie with Mr. Rogers, and they have some great stuff that's going on for them and their family. But they're also going to share with us life as a blended family, a large blended family, and as an interracial couple. We're going to talk about some of the issues that come along with that as well on Thursday. So don't miss the show this week. Each night, Sunday through Thursday at 7 p.m. We're so excited for everything that's going on. And Derrick, I can't thank you enough again. Thank you so much for being our guest today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Be blessed.
Everybody,
stay blessed.
Take care. Be blessed. Stay blessed. Everybody, have a good night.